Welcome, welcome, welcome. A very warm welcome to all of you to DC Heroes United. Wherever you are across the world, you are in the right place for our welcome community stream. I'm going to be your host and presenter, Eduardo. I'm going to give you all the details on how DC Heroes United works. To quickly introduce myself, again, the name's Eduardo. I work at GenVid, and I was a presenter on the last project we had. You don't really need to know much about me. What I would like you to know is that I represent the wonderful people who make DC Heroes United and that I will accompany you on this journey. Because it's our first time together now, I want to set expectations. I want to make sure we have a great time together. We're going to start by describing what DC Heroes United is all about. That way, we're on the same page. After that, we're going to break down how the experience works, the game we have on offer for you, and what to look forward to in our weekly episodes. By the end of this community stream, you should understand the overall structure of DC Heroes United, how to start playing or continue playing the game, and how episode 1 opens. Now, I hope you've had the chance and a fantastic time watching the first episode, but if you haven't had a chance to check it out, don't worry, it's available on demand at any time. And this welcome community stream will not discuss that episode in too much detail. We will discuss character dynamics, and it will be minor spoilers. But this is done in consideration of both of you, that either whether you've watched the episode or not watched it. That way, you know, we can share, we can bond, regardless of your experience so far. But what is DC Heroes United all about? It's about you. You collectively will determine how Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman work together and how they will handle the challenges they face throughout our story, leading up to the very formation of the Justice League. This brand new story will be delivered to you live in weekly episodes, with the rest of the week giving you an opportunity to shape together future episodes. It is the story of these heroes told on you and empowered by you. Now, most of the superheroes in the weekly episodes should be familiar to you in the audience. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are very much key protagonists. They are our known protagonists, but there are a few more I want to mention. In our original trailers, you could have spotted other familiar faces, such as Black Canary, Bane, Cyborg, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, and Steve Trevor. There will be others throughout the weekly episodes, but I'm going to leave that up to your enjoyment to discover in the upcoming weeks as you get a chance to re-meet some of your favorites. Now, a very big difference about these superheroes is that we are seeing them early in their storylines, most of them hiding in the shadows. Wonder Woman's a notable exception we will get to. The Tower of Fate is a catalyst that will drive these superheroes to try to save the world. But how this happens is up to the last and arguably most important protagonist, yourself, or in truth, yourselves. DC Heroes United will have a story that is shaped by the decisions you make as an audience, as a community. You can see here a live chat with you containing other fans across the world tuning in live at the same time. I'm live right now, and if anything. I can't see you for this week, but I will certainly be interacting with you in the weeks that come. Now, week after week, you will have a say on critical moments in the story, with these decisions revealing themselves in the days following the episode. Now, we're going to dive into the core of DC Heroes United. Play, decide, and watch. And our lovely production team here has put up on your screen the fuller DC Heroes United experience. The way the game and the weekly episodes connect are a vital part of your experience. We want you to have the chance to feel like a superhero. Now, this is both directly for the game, living the experience, but also in being able to decide the fate of familiar faces and taking the decisions for the heroes themselves. And that's going to be most of what today's community stream is about. Again, to set expectations, we're going to present your first experience in the game so that you're ready to take part. And if you already have, we're going to make sure to give you some additional tips. We're going to showcase how decisions for the weekly episodes work so that, again, you can take part in the story. And we're going to discuss the characters that you will see, those protagonists in our weekly episode, as well as at the starting state, how our voice actors are portraying them. As a result, expectations have been set. It's time to dive into the play segment to start with. So here we enter the EveryHero project, where you feel like a superhero. In the EveryHero project, each new run has you incarnate one of our featured superheroes, face ever-increasing challenges as the wave of enemy increases, and try to survive longer and longer within the levels. As you take part, you will be able to level up your superheroes, make them stronger, unlock more levels to play in, superheroes, and increasing the challenges that you will face. Now, play, very importantly, gives you access to crucial story tokens. That's what you'll need to have to spend to decide the story. Now, these can only be acquired through gameplay or participation with DC Heroes United. When we get to our Decide segment later, we'll discuss how you can use those. But for now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna dive into Lex's EveryHero project, how it works, and how you can get started. So, Lex actually describes the EveryHero project in episode 1. I built a simulation of known powers, comparing them against the technology of Batman and myself, and experimenting with simulated power crossovers. I call it the EveryHero project. Now, as you can see here on the side, every superhero in the EveryHero project has their own special base abilities. And what you'll be able to do is mix and match these with a diverse set of abilities to overcome the uncommon challenges each time you start a new run. As you take part, you will be able to make said superheroes and the equipment you collect stronger permanently. Now, each time you level up in game, you can either pick from a brand new ability or level up one that you've already chosen or have. So you can see that here. You will always be presented with free abilities to choose from. These change every level up. If you see one that's new and that you, after a few plays, decide you really like, make sure to pick that ability to lock it in, and you'll have the ability to level it up later on. Now, your superhero levels up, time marches forward, the amount and power of enemies will increase, as you can see on your screen in this little time lapse. There is a very high chance, almost guaranteed on your first run, but later on you might be able to survive, because you'll probably succumb in those under the 10-minute mark. That's what concludes a level. So in your first few tries, you might not get there, but keep trying, try to progress further. Now, that said, success or failure, you get credits, you get other items, you complete goals, and that's gonna enable those permanent bonuses that help your superheroes become stronger before starting a new run and trying to survive whatever nonsense you got to see at the end there. Now, dropped items can be used to acquire chests or to make superheroes and equipment stronger. It kind of all rolls in together. Now, we're gonna discuss that today. When episode 3 airs in that after show, we're actually gonna give you even more additional pointers regarding equipment, but today we'll give you kind of the basis. We're gonna show you also where to get those chests in today's community stream, just in case you haven't had a chance to do so. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start off in Lex's EveryHero project with Batman, because that's the superhero you're gonna start with, and you're gonna use him to unlock the others. Now, you'll be greeted by, as you can see here, this is the screen when you start. At the bottom, there's a play button. When you click on that, you can start playing. Now, the first time will include guidance from Mercy Graves, so you won't be on your own. Once you start play, Mercy Graves will get you through those first steps. Now, again, superheroes each have their own special base abilities. You'll be able to mix and match them with that base one to gain experience in your survival run. Now, we're starting you off with Batman. You will get him at level 1. This is a preview of what happens later. But again, Batman, first superhero you will have access to. And Batman's base ability are the Batarangs. And our production team is putting that right up on here screen. You see them in action in Old Gotham. It is a potent ranged weapon. It's good to take out the enemies, especially across the screen, so hopefully they don't get to Batman in the first place. And they combine with Batman's speciality. That grants an additional projectile, meaning you'll be able to fill the screen with Batarangs or any other projectile ability you might pick up. You're going to be able to walk around with your finger or thumb to move. The Batarangs will fly automatically, as well as any other, most other abilities you get to take out enemies. These will drop little green gems. When you pick those up as one of the superheroes, by walking over them, you'll be able to power them up. Now, the abilities are random, again, but if you're lucky, as you see here, you get armor. So that's what's called Batman's linked passive ability. You see a little bit of an Evo there. The Evo essentially symbolizes that it evolves a weapon. So in this case, it evolves the Batarang. So it's very important that you choose armor at least once to unleash the full potential of those Batarangs. Essentially, once you get the Batarangs to level 5 and the armor to level 1, you just need 1 level of armor, you can choose Hellfire Batarangs as you see there. And once you pick that, you're going to be able to see them as you see in action right there. They're full of flames. There's a ton of them on screen. They're faster. They're more powerful. Essentially a huge power up to the ability, and evolving abilities is a real key to your success. Now, you're going to need that because you're going to see that horde of enemies again grow ever larger over the course of your stay in Old Gotham. Now, at some point, you will either succeed, you'll clear the map after 10 minutes, congratulations, or Batman will be taken down by the hordes of enemies generated by Lex's server. But again, success fail, you will get credits. That's what we're going to use to make Batman more powerful permanently. We're going to jump to your first goal. Your first goal, if you can do it, is to get Batman to level 10. Because at that point, the Batarangs get a successful upgrade. That's a really good first goal to go for. Now, and again, when you upgrade Batman to level 10 and the Batarangs get that threshold upgrade, it counts across all your superheroes for that bonus. So it's really important to get there. Now, you can level up Batman further, and the speciality linked to projectile abilities, the Batmobile Ultimate, and even the Batarangs can still get better if you decide to go further. Now, if you want to level up Batman, as you can see on screen, you click on the level up button at the bottom. You spend some level up tokens and credits that you get for the game, and voila, you're done. He's better, he's ready for action, and that's going to be important to your success in the EveryHero project. Now, a little bit later on, you're going to be able to promote your superheroes. These will require hero shards. That's also what you need to unlock new ones. What you need to know to get those, for the most part, is open hero chests. There will also be sometimes an achievement that might unlock a few, but your first promotion is likely going to take some time to get, but as you can see, promoting Batman is a huge upgrade, and it makes every level up that's been placed in Batman already and the future ones you will place even better. So if you do have the chance to promote your hero, strongly recommend you do so. Now, as you play, you're going to complete goals, open chests. You will get some equipment you can use. What you're seeing on screen is essentially that. So here, there's a gold chest. You will at some point get something called a gold key that will open a chest. As you can see, that little piece of equipment right there. Then you're going to go into equipment, and it's there. And to equip it, all you have to do, click on the equipment. You have a little bit of an equip button at the bottom, and you're done. Now, a nice part about equipment is it's shared across your superheroes. So that's actually kind of important because you can mix and match them as you want, but it leads to kind of this crucial tip. And this is an experience I suffered through when playtesting the game internally with my lovely colleagues, is I had trouble clearing some of the levels, and I had experience with this type of game. So one thing that made the game way easier for me once it was explained, once I figured it out, and what I'm sharing with you right now, is that you can level up your equipment. And you really should. Trust me, it'll make things easier. What do you need? Credits, blueprints. These are things you'll obtain naturally as you clear goals, open chests. And again, I'm not kidding. You don't want to just level up your superheroes, you also want to level up that equipment. That's what's going to be that key to success that's going to help you clear those full 10 minutes of survival and the final boss of the level. You saw it go a few times here. That level up button was the key. Now, you also have a merge button that's going to be able to merge your equipment. I'm not going to go into detail on that because you'll need quite a bit of equipment before we dive into that. So that'll be, again, in episode 3's after show. But if you're curious and want to check out that feature, find the merge button. Now, as a final note, you do get daily rewards, and they're completely free in the shop. What you can do, when you click on shop and scroll down, you'll see that these rewards are waiting for you. This is what's going to help you get daily equipment, materials to upgrade your superheroes, and get new ones. So if you visit the shop regularly to get those free rewards, you also will see that you'll be able to use some of the keys that you've collected as you progress through the game. Now, when this Welcome Community stream ends, and you've had a chance to watch episode 1, I'd strongly start there. You can, if you haven't had the chance, head on down and try Batman and Lex's EveryHero project. Doing so unlocks story tokens, but really, that's really what you need to know so far for the game. We finished our look into play, so now it's time to look at a decide segment and how you can collect and use those story tokens, because I've done more than enough foreshadowing. So we're gonna see up on our screen, in DC Heroes United, you decide, and this is very important, you decide, you're the ones, how the story evolves with the audience. The story tokens you acquire are essentially the means by which we allow those decisions from the community to happen, and what the outcomes will be episode to episode. Now, collecting these story tokens, again, is tied to completing goals within the game. They're daily and weekly objectives, and you can clear these at your leisure. Something incredibly important that I wanted to share from the team is that regardless of how good or unfortunately bad happens, you are at the game, what we wanted to make clear to you is that the story tokens are possible as long as you're committed. We want to make sure that everybody in the community has a chance to affect the story regardless of your skill level in the game. Now, on top of that, little bit of a bonus treat, your global collective actions in Lex's EveryHero project will impact a portion of the story in DC Heroes United. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm just going to let you know that that's a thing. But story tokens, so goals, because I've talked about goals a lot, you can simply find them by clicking on the goals tab. That's going to be up on your screen in just a bit from our production team. You see here, watch, play, goals. There we go. You'll see here a list of goals. When one is complete, you can simply claim. And what that does is it gets you those goal points. These are attached to either daily or weekly. And you could see that top bar there with the chests. Essentially, it's going to help fill that top bar. And as it fills, you'll be able to collect new chests. Once you see kind of that exclamation mark above one of the chests, that means you can collect it by clicking on it. This is the only way to get story tokens. Make sure you look at the goals available to complete. Now, good news, you don't need to do all of them. One little bit of a tidbit, as long as the bar is filled, you got those 5 chests for that day or for that week, you're good. So there we go. You can choose which ones you want to do. There's a little bit of a leeway there. And there are other important rewards, of course, in those chests, but the important part is you know where to find story tokens, because I know a lot of you are excited about being able to decide those outcomes. So want to make sure very crystal clear we can find them. Before I tell you where you can use them, what we're going to do, we're going to dive into the weekly schedule for DC Heroes United, because that's a really important part of the experience here. So up on your screen, you're going to be able to see our schedule. There we go. Fantastic stuff. So here we go. Wednesday. That's when new episodes premiere. That's when the first decisions come up. So noon Pacific. Whatever your time zone is, you'll have to convert that in. But Wednesdays at noon Pacific, you get that live weekly episode. It becomes accessible, as well as the first decisions attached to it. As you see on Thursday, the game refreshes on noon Pacific daily. So nice little tidbit is Thursday, new goals, achievements, unlocking. Friday and Saturday, you get more decisions. So we kind of give you a little bit of a decision sampler on Wednesday, like something to kind of bite into. And then Friday and Saturday, we give you additional decisions to look at. Now, there will always be 3 per week minimum, but as a treat, you might get a few more to go with your week, just as a surprise. Now, Sundays, noon Pacific, what happens is you get standings for the decisions. The percentages are revealed. You can see where the decisions stand. And that's kind of your last signal on changing fate. Because when we get to Tuesday, and this is earlier, so at 8 a.m. Pacific rather than noon, on Tuesday is when the decisions close. Now, a little bit of a tidbit. We're going to hide the percentages at 7:45 a.m. Pacific, just so it's not quite clear which one might have won. That way, when you watch the episode, you're not 100% sure of what took it down. But 8 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays, the cake is ready to put in the oven. We start baking that fresh new episode, ready for you to enjoy Wednesday, noon Pacific. And look, I'm going to leave you on the schedule. That's the important note. If you only have to remember one time a day, that is really it. Noon Pacific is when all the action comes down, when the game refreshes, when you get all that new action. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to use a decision that is already available now. You can see that on screen. I'm really sorry it appeared that fast, but it's okay. It's minor spoilers, but if you've seen the episode, You knew that was coming. And if you haven't had a chance to see the episode, why this choice exists is also of interest probably to you. So we're going to use this to give you an example of how spending your story token works. But first, that decision, the first one open for DC Heroes United, how will Wonder Woman combat Rogue Superman? You can contain him, you can choose to get him on her side, or you can choose for her to take him out. Now, to find decisions, when you're on the front page of Watch, you're going to have something called decisions for the next episode. It's basically at the bottom of the screen. You can scroll down to it, and then you'll have like the decisions essentially appear there. When you click on one of them, that's going to open up a little screen where you can spend your story tokens. So again, scroll down on Watch, you'll see that, and you can see this will appear. Now again, the percentages are there because, you know, this is kind of an in development picture. This is what you might expect on a Sunday. But for now, you will just see a bunch of zeros because we're hiding things from you. But to add a story token, all you have to do, press the option that pleases you, and it'll add a story token, add as many as you want. If you just want to kind of say your voice, you can put one. If you really care about an outcome, you can dump all of them. It's really that you aren't limited to just one. It depends on how much you care on that specific choice. You know now how to affect the story. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a moment to dive into the characters of DC Heroes United. This is going to be our Watch section. Now, you've noticed, you've probably seen it, episode 1 is already available in the app. Brand new episodes, Wednesdays, noon Pacific. And that's when you get to see the story unfold based on the decision you as a community took throughout the week. Now, we know life gets in the way, so you can always watch the episode later on demand. Of course, if you do have the chance to watch it live with us, we will be there. I'll give you a little bit of details later, but you'll get to see it with us. You'll get to see it with everybody else in the audience, and you'll get to see everybody's reactions as the episode plays. So if you can't make it every time, we still appreciate you making it once in a while because it is quite a distinct experience to experience this weekly episode live with fans across the globe. Now, again, before I let you go, what I'm going to do, I'm going to dive into our main superheroes, how they're portrayed, and what is at stake for each of them. First, we're going to present Batman. Since the death of his parents led to him being raised by Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce Wayne has used the symbol of the bat to cultivate fear in Gotham's criminals. But the invention of Batman also provides Bruce an emotional coping mechanism to fend off what is more terrifying than countless foes: the unprocessed trauma of his parents' death. This leads him to show a hard facade out of fear that being emotionally vulnerable will weaken him and endanger Gotham. As long as Batman endures the physical pain of punching and fighting, Bruce Wayne doesn't have to confront the emotional pain he's hidden deep within his psyche. Now, DC Heroes United, you're going to see a younger version of Batman. It's going to be portrayed by Alex Lee. And this younger version is still troubled by what makes Batman Batman and having to find the right balance between his confidence and his stern stance. Now, the question, one of the big questions, right, is will Batman learn to open up and trust other people? Besides, of course, Alfred, who in DC Heroes United is voiced by Andrew Wielden Dennis, and as such, overcome his concern that such a trust would lead to losing those he cares about, such as happened to his parents. Now, he'll have to at least overcome the relationship with Lex Luthor, voiced by Jabari Rayford, who has planted his own flag in Gotham, making Bruce quite agitated with his arrival. Presenting Superman. Moving on now to our second character here, we move on to Clark Kent, or should I say Superman. And by the way, because I took this description from the narrative team, there's a little bit of a nice pun, which I will show. Heroed in secret on the small Ville, and I do mean parenthesis Ville, stage through adolescence, then moved on to the big city to pursue a career in journalism. Now, the big news story in Metropolis, there's an unidentified blur who has been spotted flying around the city, saving citizens in peril. And this is where DC Heroes United starts, with the city not knowing who the blur is. And the blur character in question is an outsider, a small town in a big city, an alien on Earth, full of self-doubt and compensating by trying to be perfect, infallible, and irreproachable. You will hear this through Chris Hackney's performance as Superman. A character who will have to overcome his difficulties on his own identities and finding meaning in both. While full of charm and the embodiment of hope, keeping Superman and Clark's lives separate might be too great a challenge for even the most super of men. And finally, we're going to present our third main character, Wonder Woman. Our third main character is an Amazonian Olympian, raised on a Mediterranean island that is outside the confines of normal time, making her, roughly, give or take a few years, 5,000 years of age. She's former heir apparent to her mother's crown and commander of the Amazonian army. And she now works, though, for Amanda Wallers. Amanda Wallers, voiced by Veta Howard here. The secret government organization known as Argus, A-R-G-U-S. And she's also working alongside Steve Trevor. Steve Trevor being voiced by Jalen Askins. As mentioned at the start, she is a superhero who is not hiding in the shadows. She's been established in this world for the past year or so. But for Argus and others, she has millennia of experience for her previous life that is not quite known to them. As DC Heroes United starts, Wonder Woman is portrayed by Emily Roya O'Brien, an externally incisive and internally empathetic portrayal here because she has the benefit and the shadows of history on her back. How Wonder Woman navigates the extent of her knowledge with personal confrontations is going to be a key aspect of her development, a true embodiment that there is no age at which one stops learning. And look, I've only had, of course, the chance to highlight a few of our characters, a few of our voice talent, but as the weeks go on, I will have the chance to do more because they've done a truly terrific job, and I love being able to say who's portrayed these characters and the work that goes behind them. But again, that's who we're highlighting today. We will give one last special shout out here to our composer Stemej, who has done the music that you've heard tonight, as well as you'll hear throughout DC Heroes United. So again, a thanks there. But if you ever wonder who's worked on the project, you can always check our credits list at the end of the episodes to check that full cast list. But look, that's going to do it for this DC Heroes United welcome stream. I hope you had a delightful time in our company. Again, you haven't seen episode 1, that should be your next step. Really recommend you dive into that. But after watching that, Lex's EveryHero project awaits you so that you can affect the story in future episodes. Because the story and the game are going to evolve in the weeks to come. And we're really looking forward to what you decide in the coming days, because the story needs one last ingredient to be fully written: you. If you've enjoyed DC Heroes United so far and want to help us, a 5-star review makes a big difference and would be very much appreciated. In the meantime, I'm going to catch you at 11:50 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday next week in our community stream that will start prior to episode 2, 10 minutes before it goes live. That way we get to hang out together, we get to watch the episode together live as it's hot off the press. After that, we're going to dig deeper into the episodes and the outcomes of it and of your decisions. Look, this is on behalf of the team. Wherever you are around the world, I wish you a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Do take care.